Welcome to Rock and Roll. I'm Robert Madoy. As always, I'm joined at the table by the hookers, Philip Kibojana and David Mutaka. Gentlemen, I would imagine our viewers will not put up with any overthrows.
To ourselves or to you?
Well, you're the hookers.
I'd like to clarify that hookers is not in any bad context.
Yes, of course. Rugby. We're speaking rugby here, aren't we?
Yes, we are.
Yes. And Philip?
No. I'm ready to hook. I hope my jumper, though short, might be able not to let us down, but we're good.
Okay. This, by the way, is how our lineup will look like. The Uganda Super Series is already churning compelling storylines ahead of its kickoff. We talked to Byuma Musoke and Brian Tabaruka about what they have up their sleeves. And he turned back the clock to drag Izimani Rhinos by the bootstraps. But John Musoke managed more cameos. We speak to the man himself. Yes, John Byuma Musoke coming up later for you. It's a decent watch as well, so make sure you hang around for that. First though, to the Uganda Super Series, new tournament and new coaches. If you like your things new, this could be your cup of tea. We've been to find out how it tastes.
Yeah, it's a nice young blend of players, and for one, I'm really going out for running rugby because we had stagnated a bit in terms of Uganda, and that is the kind of rugby that excites people, and that's the kind of rugby that we want to be playing. Every international side, even England, has started running the ball, so we want to run the ball pretty much.
The rugby club is going to present two sides, and this is principally going to be a merger of Heathens and Buffaloes players, and then a pickup from some Impis, Mongers, and our lower team, Stallions and Tigers.
Going into the Super Series, I want to get these players, first of all, aerobically fit. I want to improve their skills in terms of ball handling and game awareness. That is what we really need right now. And the rest in terms of power, strength and agility, that one they'll get as the training goes on, or from their clubs. But now it's getting skills and game awareness.
And of course the players also know that the national team is still, the coaches are still watching them, looking at whom is still eligible for selection for the national team. So it's still an opportunity for them to showcase their skills.
Well, what I would expect from the franchise sides from Chadondo is one, very slow contested balls at the rucks. They're going to be quite messy there, and they're going to take us on quite a bit. They are also going to be, they're quite youthful as well. So really the brand of rugby in Uganda is changing and evolving. So I believe the entire time we're going to see less tries from mauls and more tries from open play.
The Chadondo has got the two sides, is the Chadondo Protectors and the Chadondo Invaders. Chadondo Protectors are the first side, Chadondo Invaders are the second side. Now the composition is really going to be made up of team members from the club, coached by Robert Seguya, the first side, and the second side is coached by O'Brien Tindimwebo, together with Marco Chwich, who is trying to make a coaching stint in the Super Series.
Pirates and the Rhinos will be putting out more or less a very big and strong side, predominantly what we have been seeing in the league, because I don't think they have very many national team call-ups. So we're going to see majority of their league players featuring. And that gives me a challenge, because then I'm going to pit these boys against seasoned players who have actually been at it for the last 8 or 10 weeks.
We actually have had a very open hand to all the former players to come back and help the club grow with coaching. They are quite busy with their work obligations. They travel quite a bit, so sometimes it's not easy to get them here. But it's good to see the likes of Marco Chwich, and O'Brien, Tindimwewa, Edgar Lemeriga stepping up. And also, I mean, this is going to be their first time to get into the coaching arena. So good to see that they're coming in now.
Alan Musoke and Brian Tabaruka there. They are giving their 2 cents. Do you think, I'll start with Alan, do you think he's equipped, with the tools to go places that's in coaching?
Going by his playing reputation and what he did as a player, I think he is. He's got a rugby brain. He's smart. Tactically, he sort of understands how to get things done. In terms of the discipline around coaching, around getting a team together, around understanding the scrum and bringing the right people to help him with that, I think it's a good place to start, because it's starting with a franchise that's almost, it's a new franchise. Yeah. So there's no history, which is, I think, a very great platform to blood new coaches, because I think that's one of the areas where, as a country, we're struggling.
Yeah. Yeah. And of course we know that you did also venture into coaching. You had your foray into coaching. You did coach the ladies national team at the World Cup. What does it mean for the coach, if they take on a side, for instance Crocs, which Musoke is going to coach, which sort of embodies the style that he's used to, because Crocs is made up of summer camp, that's Mutoni Warriors, Dima Cobbs, and as well as Impis. These guys play a running game which Alan is pretty familiar with. Yes,
I think he'll be tested early, because you think what you know works. Then you discover that there's quite a bit that you didn't know about. And I think for him as a coach is to say, what is my style? How do I want this team to play? Yeah. What's my brand? And I think over 6 games, which is what, 5 or so games, if it's home and away, right? Yeah. About 10 games. Yeah. Is it enough? But I think is it enough for him to build that brand? Maybe, maybe not. But it's a start. And I say, going back to coaching, when I said coaching, I thought I knew things. And you coach as a player. Yeah. Then you realize that you are supposed to forget everything you knew and come in with a clean slate, which is the challenge. No, I lost all the games after I had learned, but the losing as well is it's part of the coaching. I think it's learning to work with the players you have, because you say Mutoni Warriors, you say Cobbs, some of the national team players will not be there. So his pack strength. So how does he combine players that have not played together before to say this is now the new linkman, this is now the new captain? How do you choose your captain? Who are the guys who come onto your team sheet? How do you build leadership in the different facets, either from the back 3 in the pack? And so really just setting up the structure so that the team works, I think is the first thing that you want to get right. And Philip, it does help that he did play competitive rugby and he did acquit himself. I think he's the record try scorer for Uganda. So the players will easily buy into what he has to say.
Of course, a record there, Chimono missed out by 1 point last season. But his playing experience, especially if you look at the fact that Alan featured for the African Leopards, I think twice, and played with the world's best. This was a combined team of Africa's best playing against teams like British Army. I think that way he learned a lot also from the coaches, different coaches he has dealt with. And he should be able to bring this experience he has had over time as a player into his coaching career. And one key thing I see in Alan that is an advantage, he's a very focused, motivational person. And players, many look up to him. And I think it's going to be easy for him to motivate these players, put them in position to get what he wants out of them.
And and of course, Brian Tabaruka has been at it for a longer time. He's not going to be coaching, but he'll be offering 1 or 2 words to the guys who will be coaching the teams. That's the franchise sides from Chadondo. He talked about Mark Ochwich there making his debut. We're also going to be seeing Robert Seguya also putting his best foot forward. And Brian there talked about using the Super Series and to unearth, fresh faces, both in the coaching and playing ranks. Do you think this will see the light of day?
I do. If you look at the playing calendars for most unions, players should get about 20 odd weeks of good rugby to keep them fresh and give them that much fitness or that much readiness. In the past, we played the league, and most players have gone to the Super Series, Bamburi Super Series, and the rest have gone out. Now, what's happening is you have the Super Premier League, then Super Series. The national team players go to the national team, I think for the first time now. In future, you probably see them in the franchises. So the players are built within the structures that are existing, so that by the time they play in the national team, they are still fit, they are fresh, they are ready to go. Right now, I think it's not possible because it's the first time, and the national team requires some serious engagements. But yes, it will do that. And I think the hope and the thought, the thinking around this is that the franchises will probably become like the super rugby sides. So that you even forget the club and affiliate to the franchise. But the concerns around some of the names of the franchises, I don't know how you associate with Fimbo and
Wizards.
and
Wizards.
Speaking of some of the franchise sides, what are they, and where do they come from? Where are they affiliated?
Of course,
of Fimbo there.
Yeah, the Super Series was split between the two basic home grounds. That is Legends, also Kampala Rugby Club, known as Legends, and Chadondo. So Chadondo has one side called Protector, and the other called Wizards. I don't know how that name came up. Protector is because they have UHMG as a brand getting involved in this as a sponsor. Then across, we have the Crocs, I think mainly managed by Roger Mulinde, and Fimbo. We need to ask Ahamia also how we came up with this name, but those are the four teams, of course, playing over 8 weeks, 2 games per weekend. Chadondo 2:30, 4:30 p.m.
Okay, and the tournament kicks off today, doesn't it?
Yes, tournament kicks off today. So people out there watching should go to Chadondo. It's going to be lots of fun. 2 high-profile games, something new. It's a first, so it's really going to be interesting and fun.
Okay. Well, let's move on now. We still have plenty to get through after the break.